What is up? What is up, guys? So I've been kind of very spotty this last little bit on this podcast, and it's been interesting. I don't know what my deal is. I almost feel like my mindset has completely shifted over the last little bit. I feel like my energy is just very different, and this is it happens a lot. Like it's really interesting, but I feel like I get so like I'll get used to a routine or whatever and I'm like happy, I'm executing, I feel good. I wake up early in the morning and everything's good and then I don't know if something happens or if there's like a shift in the energy or like if it's just my something in my head where I just something changes, and it's weird because it's just like my energy just like gets zapped. Like I just feel like recently I've been just trying to get by and like show up and do the bare minimum, and that's like the worst way to live. So, um, I've been completely neglecting the podcast, which really sucks because like it's something that I know that I need to be doing. And I'm a big advocate of showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. But the problem is, and maybe this is all just in my head, but the problem is like I feel like I am wasting my time and your time because I'm just not like in line with who I want to be. And it's just super weird. But maybe just getting in front of the camera and saying that is good enough to course correct, and because it's the same thing I've been preaching this whole time is mental clarity comes from taking action, right? So the thing is you just got to show up and take action first, and you kind of figure out the direction as you go. But yeah, guys, I've just had like zero mental clarity lately. Like, I don't know what my deal is. And more than anything, like, I'm just going to show up and do what I know I need to do. So that's what today is all about. And, hopefully you get this thing back on course. But more than anything, I just want to make sure that I don't give up because I see the potential. I love making content. I love being able to, especially the mindset stuff. Like, the mindset is, for me, it's where things really shine. And it's interesting because that's what we're focusing on with Sovereign Lifestyle right now is we're expanding upon Doug's work. He wrote a book in the 90s called The Path to Optimal Fitness, and fitness is an acronym. Focused, intense thought, nutrition, exercise, and specific supplementation. Um, so with that being said, like that's kind of the way that things need to go, right? It's like I could go super lot like logistical with this. I could go into the studies and all the science and stuff, but the reality is the none of that matters if the mindset's not there. And that's what this whole podcast was about in the beginning was how do I take the things that have made me successful in the gym and in bodybuilding and now in business, and how do I let you guys in to my head? How do I help you guys see the bigger picture? How do I help you guys utilize the tools that I've gained over this amount of time where I've gone through a lot of hard stuff. I've, overcame obstacles and I've still come out ahead. And that was the premise of the entire podcast. And then obviously there's the other like logistical stuff where we can go into, the studies, the data and all that stuff. And I like doing that, but ultimately, I think this has a lot more value, and this is kind of where I shine because I've always been one of those relentless type, like I've always had kind of a relentless mindset where it's like I just refuse to quit, and more than anything, like if there's anything I could leave you guys with, that's it. But, but yeah, guys, this last little bit's been super weird. Like mental clarity has just been completely out of the window. Um, I have moments of it when I'm lifting or when I am, doing cardio or working, but they are very short-lived recently. And I don't know what it is. Sometimes I wonder if I have like mental illness, like if I'm some type of bipolar or something along the lines of that. Like, I honestly want to go talk with a therapist and just see what the deal is because I feel like I just hit a wall and then I'm just like beating my head against this wall and I can't figure it out. Whereas like other times I show up to work and I'm like ecstatic to be there and I just love what I'm doing and I'm fully engaged and present and the entire time that I'm there, but it just feels like that's very fleeting recently. So, anyways, guys, I think I mean, I guess there doesn't necessarily have to be a point of this podcast, but other than just kind of talking about where I am mentally and things that I'm trying to do to overcome that. Over the last little bit, I've gotten really dialed in with my diet, with training, and I've been using more of my time to, especially in the gym, I've been using more of my time in the gym, just spending that time alone and, getting out of my own head and into my body a little bit more. And I feel like that's helped quite a bit. Other than that, I've, cut out coffee and I've been trying to, I have like two drinks right here, but I'm drinking a matcha and a Ghost energy drink. Cut out coffee. I've had this gut issue, and this is like way beside the point, but I've had this gut issue where it's like, um, it sounds like I have a bacterial infection that could potentially be causing ulcers. So I've had this weird like pain in my stomach and it just never goes away. Like it's just like a pressure and I think that's ultimately what is really throwing me off mentally. Um, but can't let things like that own you. So more than anything, I'm just going to keep moving forward, keep doing, what I love to do and keep being here because ultimately this is it, you know. Um, Other than that, guys, today I wanted to talk about energy. And this is something that I'm really hoping that this podcast can help me kind of wrap my head around this because the reality is, guys, like I don't have all the answers. More than anything, I get behind this camera and it just helps me kind of rationalize the things that I'm going through. And we've been doing a lot of stuff for our marketing with Sovereign Lifestyle over the last little bit, getting paid ads up and going and, working with our marketing guy to get that rolling so that we can get leads coming in. And so basically, I've had to film a VSL, or I've got to film a VSL, and I've got to film front end ads, which I'm actually going to do in the next like 30 minutes. Um, so with that, it's been super interesting because we put together a slideshow and I do this little training on exactly what we do at Sovereign Lifestyle in terms of the fitness acronym, right? Focused, intense thought, nutrition, exercise, specific supplementation, um, and overcoming all the barriers that come with that. But thing that I keep going back and forth with my marketing guy Weston on is he just talks about my energy, right? I'm a very like level person. Like I like to present facts and I like to take emotion out of things and you know and with that being said, like that's not like that doesn't draw people to you, right? People like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And it's really hard to get people to know, like, and trust you if you're simply just presenting facts and you're not fully present or fully there. And um, so that's one thing that I've been trying to overcome is just like being human, like allowing myself to relax. And, and I always say, like, success is it's your natural state of being, which is such a crazy thing that like I see it all the time, and it's so easy to not be myself. Like it's so easy to not be ourselves and allow anxiety to take over and to run our entire lives and to disconnect us from people. And it's hard because like people don't like that repels people from you, and that's one thing that I've been really paying attention to lately is like, am I allowing anxiety to rule my life or am I standing in my power and being who I know that I am and having confidence and attracting people to me? And that's a tough thing. Like I don't know what happened along the way of like growing up, but that's also one thing I've been trying to do a lot is like more almost like child therapy, but like just recognizing that somewhere along the way that because I was a super social, super outgoing kid, and to the point where teachers teachers hated me because I was always talking and I was always making friends, and they couldn't get me to sit still. But um, somewhere along the way, that kid kind of like faded out, or kind of, the social aspect, or the comfortability of being social went away. And I would say probably around like 10, 11, 12. Um, that's where I started kind of shutting people out, and I only ever really had like one friend at a time. I didn't talk to a lot of people, and I just kept to myself because I don't know, like maybe I had been told so many times to not talk, or um, and eventually I just got comfortable being alone. And the problem with that is, like, if you're comfortable being alone, then you like would get this crazy social anxiety, and I didn't want to go talk to people, and I didn't want to collaborate, and I didn't want to work with people. And the problem with that is, like, you can't do everything on your own. Like, if you look at any successful people, they have a successful marriage, and they have a team behind them, and they work with tons of people and collaborate with people that are on their level, and you know all the stuff along those lines. And so that's one thing that I'm realizing is, like, I need to open up in order to take my business to the next level, in order to do things at the level that I want to do them. I need to be able to work with people in a way that's authentic, right? Like, working with people alone is not enough because the energy's not there. It's the exact same thing as doing the VSL, right? Like, I could do the VSL and I can walk you through it, and um, and present the stats and all the stuff. But the problem with that is people don't connect with you. So how is it that you get people to connect with you? And I think ultimately that's just allowing yourself to relax and be you, as crazy as that is. So that's one thing that I've been trying to focus on a lot more. And I think that's why I haven't done this podcast as much, is because, like, I just always have so much on my plate that I feel like I get overwhelmed. And then I live in this place of like isolation and anxiety. And the problem with that is then I hop on and I do these podcasts, and I just am not even close to, you know what I mean? Like, people just don't relate to me anymore. So yeah, we'll see where this podcast goes. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this podcast has been my baby, and it's been something that I really enjoy doing and I find a lot of value in, but at the same time, um, I don't want to keep doing it if it's meaningless, and like I'm just putting out podcast after podcast, and it drives that separation between me and people even farther. You know what I mean? Like, the whole point of this podcast is to help people feel closer to me. Maybe they can pick up some things from my journey and, apply those to their lives, and, maybe that has some type of value. But if I feel like I'm not able to provide that, then I won't be here, and I would hope with time that I get better and my energy is more consistent and I'm able to be better as just, a podcast host, as a person, and I'm able to connect with my audience even better. But um, who knows? That's the hard part, is like there's no promises for that. So anyways, guys, just more than anything, if there is anything that you can take away from today, it's just be authentic. And like, anxiety never helps, and it's one interesting thing in the entrepreneurship world where, like, you feel like you should be anxious, feel like you should always be jumping from one thing to the next and achieving more, and hitting deadlines and all the stuff. But the reality, you guys, is like, it is some gray area, and that's what we're all trying to find. That's what I'm trying to find, is like that balance between patience and persistence versus like always pushing the envelope and being crazy anxious and ambitious. So that's a tough one to find, but I believe with time I will find it and things will begin to work. um, so anyways, just think of that, guys. Like, in order to connect with people, all you really have to do is be yourself. Just don't don't isolate yourself. Don't allow yourself to get overly anxious, in those times when it feels like, the world, like in times when you feel overwhelmed, just take a step back, take a breather for a minute, and just, reconnect to who you are. And I think ultimately that is what draws people to you. And then, like I've said in previous podcasts, and then it's who, not how. And the reality is, when you meet the right people and you have the right circle, they will help you through anything. So anyways, guys, have a good rest of your day. We'll catch you on the next one.